I have ranked all Project Zomboid professions in the past, but today I'm ranking a bunch of new professions added by Simple Overhaul mod. In the last couple of days, I have ranked all negative and positive traits that are also added by that mod, so if you haven't seen that yet, go check out those videos. Now, many existing professions have been reworked and rebalanced, their cost changed and all that such. And you can find all about this in a link that I'll be posting in the description below. But today I'm going to be ranking all of the new professions that have been added. So let's begin. First on the list we have Tailor. It costs you 0 points and it gives you +2 tailoring, which means you start with 100% extra tailoring XP and +1 short blunt, which means 75% extra XP. This goes for, all of the other traits, so I do not repeat myself in that regard. So this one also gives you Dexterous. Dexterous, in my opinion, is an amazing trait, and this one already has it built in. Basically allows you to transfer items into your inventory and out of it faster, which is really good. Now, the unfortunate part is it does have Short Blade, and we all know Short Blade is not really good or very useful. I know some of you are like, yeah, Short Blade great, just stab zombies. Other weapons provide you way more than that one. But this one also has +2 tailoring, which means extra XP for it, and tailoring can be really good. If you are struggling to survive, because you tend to get hit in combat, which I advise you don't get hit, it can help you if you get high tailoring and then you patch up your gear, because it can give you 100% protection on all of your gear with good tailoring. I have done ranking for the Project Zomboid armor a couple of days ago, so if you want to see that, go check it out. And there I explain how this works. Anyway, tailoring, I think, because of all of this, it's still A tier. It could be higher, but that Short Blade is just not worth. Next on the list is Delivery Man. It will cost you -1 point, and it gives you +2 sprinting, +1 nimble, and organized. Organized can be pretty decent if you have a big base, and maybe if you're playing with not very rare loot, because then you're gonna have a lot of loot that you can bring home. So organized can be pretty decent, so you can stack more. Still, while nimble is pretty great, I don't think sprinting is that worth it unless you're playing with sprinter zombies, which most people don't really. So I think this is like middle of the pack, B tier. Next we have Loader. This one costs you also just 1 point, and it gives you +2 strength, +1 nimble, and it gives you Strong Back trait as well. Strong Back allows you more carry capacity based on your strength, +1 or +2. This one has all really good things. It has strength, it's got nimble, it's got that strong back, and it only costs 1 point, which I think it really makes it a very good profession. And I'm gonna put it up here into S tier because strength is always good, and nimble for melee characters, what is there not to love? Next we have Trucker. This one actually leaves you with 1 spare point that you can put into something else. It also gives you +1 mechanics, +1 maintenance, and a commercial driver trait, which is, it allows you to repair heavy vehicles right from the start, which is actually pretty great. And you're also less sleepy while driving, which is, I don't know how very useful that is gonna be, but it could be. Now, while it does leave you with that 1 point, those extra mechanics and maintenance are not that amazing. If you really are planning on doing a lot of mechanics, and maybe if you're going with like spears and you want the maintenance build, maintenance build can be very good for all melee weapons, but if you're really not focusing that much, I don't know. I don't think this is too amazing. It's pretty decent, but I think it's like middle of the pack amongst all of these new professions. We're gonna put it into B tier. Next we have Soldier. This one is gonna cost you 5 points, but it really comes loaded. You have 2 aiming, 2 reloading, and you start with extra 1 strength and 1 fitness. Shooter trait is already built in, that gives you +1 aim and +1 reload. But still, this is actually really good. If you are going to play with guns, this is gonna help. Sure, Veteran has the desensitized trait, but this one also has the strength and fitness that will allow you to go longer. And there's a mod that allows you to become desensitized. And also, just in vanilla game, Panic, as you survive longer, is gonna be way reduced. It's never gonna go fully away, but it's gonna be way reduced. And also, of course, playing with guns just gonna make your game much easier. I think Soldier is really good and it's up here in the S tier. Next on the list we have Botanist. Botanist can be pretty good. It leaves you actually with 1 spare point, and otherwise it gives you +2 foraging, but it also gives you +1 farming and +1 first aid. First aid, you know my opinion on it, you really should never ever level it up because it's not useful. If you're getting hit, just try not getting hit. It's way better, trust me. And farming is really not that useful because you really don't need farming to plant crops. And when you're gonna be picking up crops, you're gonna level up farming really fast. So without even any skill box or any extra XP. So those two are kind of wasted there. You get the herbalist as well, which could be useful if you're going full foraging skill. But this one feels like it has 2 wasted points in there. So I think I'm gonna put this one into C tier. Next on the list we have Grave Digger. This one for 2 points that you're gonna have to spend. It gives you +1 strength, +1 long blunt, and +1 maintenance. This combined really make for a very good melee character, and you also get used to corpses. So if you know when there's a lot of corpses on the ground and you walk over it where you can hear those flies buzzing, that is where there's a chance that you might get nauseated. You get sick because there's a zombie sickness that you can get from too many corpses. It's not a zombification sickness, it's just, you know, it's gonna make you sick, and usually you can wear a gas mask to prevent that. But with this one, you're just used to that, so that makes it that much easier. This one, I think, for a melee build, it's great. I'm gonna put it up here into A tier. Next we have Dancer. You're gonna be spending 3 points on this bad boy, but it does give you some useful things. It gives you +2 nimble. Nimble is great, again, in melee builds, we said that before. It gives you +1 fitness, which is awesome because fitness and strength are the hardest to level up. It also does give you +1 light-footed, which feels like it's kind of wasted. Light-footed is really not very useful. And it gives you graceful trait, which again is not very useful. Who cares really about making less noise while you're walking around? Because, you know, you're gonna get into zombies and you smack their heads around anyway. Sure, maybe if you're going full on sneak mode, then those can be useful to you, but really it's usually not that good. Still, the +2 nimble that you get and the extra fitness for not that many points spent, this makes it, I think, an A tier trait. Next on the list we have Priest. This one feels more like it's there for role playing. While it does give you the massive +6 points to spend, it's got some negative things going for it. You get +1 light-footed, which is kind of wasted. You do get +1 maintenance, which can be decent, but you are a pacifist, which means 25% less weapon XP. I am really not a fan of that. If you're really trying to play a pacifist in this game, then maybe that's gonna work out for you, but otherwise, not that great. It does give you a very interesting other trait though, which is called Priestly Spirituality. Basically, it's gonna allow you to write like small pamphlets. If you have like sheet of paper and you have a pen or pencil, something like that, you can write that. It actually takes quite a long time to do it, so you know, there's that. But it's gonna give you some boredom reduction, some stress reduction, some happiness, and you know, if you're feeling sad and depressed, that can help you out. Now, as I mentioned in the previous videos when I was ranking positive and negative traits, stress is usually really easy to deal with because you have many magazines and books and food and stuff to watch, all kinds of stuff to fix that, smokes even, antidepressants. So this is really not that useful. I think the priest one is really more there for roleplay than anything else. I think otherwise, generally in gameplay, it's F tier. Next on the list, we have weightlifting instructor. Now this one is gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you 6 points, but you're gonna be buff, you're gonna be strong. You get +3 strength and +1 fitness, which can be very powerful because we all know, again, those are usually the hardest to level up. You also get a strong back trait, which means you'll be able to carry more, you know, 1 to 2 more carry capacity, can be pretty good. And you'll be able to tell all the nutrition stuff for the food. So really this one, while it does cost a lot, it does give you a lot back in return, I think, and I think it's worth the cost. We're gonna put it up here into A tier. Then we have a detective. This one is, it feels like kind of all over the place. It costs you 1 point and you get +1 aiming, which makes sense for a detective. It gives you +1 sneak, because I guess detectives are kind of light-footed and they sneak around and all that such. And it also gives you +1 foraging. Now this all kind of makes sense for detective, because detective, you know, goes around and tries to find items, but in the game itself, combining all these three, I don't feel they work that well together. I mean, sure, they kind of do, but sneaking and aiming together, it's a bit questionable, right? It also gives you the inconspicuous trait, so zombies are less likely to spot you while you're sneaking around. Still think the detective is nothing that crazy useful, because it kind of combines two different playstyles. So maybe if you really just want to do everything in the game, then sure, maybe go for it. But otherwise, I think it's a bit of a C tier profession. Next we have high school teacher. This one is gonna give you 3 points to spare on something else, and it gives you light-footed and maintenance, +1 for both, same as the priest does. Now it also comes in with fast reader. Now, if you're playing single player, fast reader is usually one you never take, because you can speed the time in game and you basically gain fast reader for free. So fast reader is really never worth it. The +1 maintenance and +1 light-footed here are not that worth it, even if you have the +3 points to spend. So I think this one joins the priest down here in the F tier, but it's still slightly better in my opinion than the priest. Next on the list we have cleaner. This one is going to cost you 2 points. And this one on paper has great potential, but it's kind of debatable. It gives you +2 in maintenance, and it gives you +1 in spears. Maintenance and spears are a great combination. Really good. If you want to go spears, you want to have maintenance as high as possible, and spears can do incredible damage and can be really powerful. So just that makes this one pretty good. But unfortunately, the extra trait it gets with it is not really worth it. It allows you to make cleaning supplies. It allows you to make bleach and what's it called? The cleaning liquid. Right. It allows you to make bleach and cleaning liquid. Not really worth it. When have you ever used bleach and cleaning liquid? Sure, if you have a base and you're trying to make it really pretty, you can clean some of the blood and such, blood stains from it, but to me that's just extra decoration. Okay? So while it has good, you know, stats and skills right from the start, the maintenance and the spear, the extra trait here is kind of not worth it, but still, those maintenance and spear at least deserves it to be in B tier. It would have been definitely higher if it had something better than the cleaning stuff. Last but not the least, we have Stuntsman. This is gonna really be nice for some people that play in a really certain specific way. It's gonna cost you 2 points and you get +1 nimble, +1 fitness, and +1 sprinting. Not only that, you also get adrenaline junkie. So really this is for those people who really like going the panic mode characters. If you haven't heard it before, you know, you stack claustrophobic and agoraphobic and all kind of phobic, and basically you make your character as much panic as possible. Then you go adrenaline junkie, that's gonna make you run faster when you are highly panicked, and you can just kite zombies forever. So Stuntsman really works with that kind of play. But this is really pretty situational, and if you're really trying to clear out towns, I don't think this is really worth it unless you just want to run away and set zombies on fire, but then you're gonna set the whole town on fire, so I don't know. Anyway, I think this one is pretty decent and situational. I don't think it's higher than a C tier. And there we have it, boys. We have ranked all of the new professions. As I said before, there's a link in the description so you can check all the rework stuff with the traits as well. Let me know what you would change over here. What do you think of my ranking? What would you change for the S tier? What would you change for F tier? And check out some of my other ranking videos for the traits and such. And I will see you guys next time.